Okay guys, I'm so sorry that our Teams channel still isn't up, so I'm gonna do this quick video just to show you some of the ins and outs of Visible Body and where you can find all of your coursework. I know quite a few of you have already started, and that's awesome. If you haven't started, you need to try to get going. If you have any questions or run into any issues, I can do a one-on-one Teams call with you. I just can't record and post a video in our Teams channel because it doesn't exist, and I'm not authorized to build a Teams channel. So here we are. Okay, so I've gone over most of this stuff. So what we'll look at is Visible Body and OpenStax. OpenStax, we'll do that first. This is your textbook. So OpenStax follows the sequence of Visible Body almost perfectly. And so we'll look at the table of contents. And so here's, chapter 1, all of the stuff about the introduction to the human body. We don't do chapter 2, that's chemistry. You cover most of this stuff in your chemistry courses. So we just skip that because we have a ton of stuff to do. And then here's the cellular level of organization. So this is all set up in this sequence in Visible Body. And then the tissue level of organization. And then the integumentary system, which is the hair, skin, and the nails. Okay, so if you need clarification on anything, if you if you need any more details on any subject or just want to learn more, you can read all of this. I would suggest you read the parts that you're struggling with. I really suggest that you read it all, but I understand that this is a summer course and we just don't have, some people work and have families, and some people just don't have time to read every part of the textbook. But this is a great resource to help clarify anything that you're having troubles with. Okay. So I do have an article or a link that walks you through Visible Body. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but you should be able to get in and get started fairly quickly. So you do have to purchase Visible Body. You can purchase that through the Academos site, or you can purchase it straight through this link. When you click on this link, it will automatically sign you up for my summer A&P course. Oh, looks like I have more people logged on. And then we'll do the student preview. And this is what it looks like. I have everything open already. So all of your module quizzes and all of your post-lab quizzes will be housed in Visible Body, as well as the lecture slides and the labs. The first thing that you need to do and the first grade that you will receive is this getting started quiz. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice. There's a little PowerPoint that you walk through that reviews how to use the Visible Body, and then you take a quiz over this. I think I have unlimited attempts on this, so I want you to make sure that you get this information kind of locked in your brain pan. Okay, so I have all of the lectures. So these are all of the textbook chapters, and then I have the labs at the bottom. So in every lecture, I have the lecture slides. These are just PowerPoint slides. These are what I use in my lectures. You review that. There's outlines in there. You can use these to take notes. It kind of hits the highlights of every chapter. And then I have the module quiz. So these are the module quizzes. You have to take these at the end of every chapter. It's a great review for the exam and a great way to check your understanding to see if you got everything in that chapter. I also have videos. These crash course videos follow our Visible Body and OpenStax pretty precisely. And so these are they're usually about 10 minutes, a great overview of the chapter. And then I'll put, if there's anything extra that will help you through the chapter, I'll put that after the quiz. But that's how all of the chapters are set up. So there's the slides, there's the outline. If there's a module in Visible Body, I will put it in the chapter. So this is the module that corresponds to our cells and tissues. The Visible Body modules, these are kind of like their version of the textbook, but it is very succinct. There's not a whole lot of details, which is why I recommend reading the OpenStax textbook. These are good, but it's a little clunky. The OpenStax textbook is set up like a textbook. It's a lot easier to read through. If there's sections that you need to omit, I put that here because they won't let me omit it when I build these modules. And I'll go over the textbook and the apps here in a second. Okay, and so it's just a rinse and repeat. There's the crash course video, and then chapter 4, there's the slides, there's the module, there's the quiz. Oh, let me do this. Okay, there's the outline, okay, the quiz, and then here's the crash course videos that correspond to this chapter. Okay, so just rinse and repeat for all of the lectures. Okay, I'll try to get these where they're all set up the same. Now, when it comes to the labs, since the labs are a little more, I guess, detailed, I do have video links for every lab. These are ones that I recorded back in, oh gosh, I probably should record new ones. This was back when we had COVID stuff going on and I had students out, and so I just recorded every lab. And so it's just a link. I pull up my screen and walk through the lab for you. So if you need extra help with the labs, they're usually about an hour. Then these videos will really help. So the way that the labs are set up, I have the lab worksheet and then I have the word bank. The word banks are what you should really zone in on for the practicals. So the word banks have all of the terms that you will need to know for that lab and for the practical. Okay. So this is an example. This is the lab 1 word bank. You need to know all of these terms, what they mean, where they are, what they do. And this will help you on the lab practical. And then the labs, most of them are either Word documents. I think I have a couple of fillable PDFs. But you just click on these, and these are what I walk through and fill out in those videos. So I walk through and I discuss everything. You know, we look at everything. I fill in the answers for you as we walk through the lab. So those videos will really help you in filling out these lab sheets. Okay. For the lab, the only grade that I take is this post-lab quiz. You do not need to turn in the lab worksheets. The lab worksheets and the word bank are for you to use and study for the practical. Okay. The only grade I take for the labs are the post-lab quizzes. Okay, so you won't see that. I do have a little extra ditty for the language of anatomy. Okay, and so you just work through. Okay, same thing. Here's the lab sheet. Here's the word bank, and then here's the video where I go over the lab. And then you have your post-lab quiz. Okay. These 2 links, these are study guides that you can use when you're studying the tissues. These are really good websites to use. Okay, I'm about to run out of time. So, in Visible Body, this is the Visible Body app that we will be using in all of our labs. So to get to that, you just go over and you have your little ditties over here. You go to the bottom and click on My Apps. And then this is the Visible Body Suite. This thing is pretty awesome. It has computer-generated 3D images of all the body systems, all the body parts. It's pretty awesome. It'll take a minute to load, so I'm going to go back here. If you're taking biology, this is a really good resource that you can use. So here, this anatomy and physiology, this is like their textbook. Okay, I don't like it, so we use OpenStax. It is good. It has a lot of great pictures in there, a lot of interactive 3D models. The physiology and pathology is cool. And then the Muscle Premium, this is kind of built into the Visible Body suite. So, okay, it's still loading. We'll go back to the course. So the lecture exams, your first lecture exam will be Chapter 1, Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and Chapter 5. It'll be the introduction to the human body, and then the cells, and then the tissues, and then the integumentary system. So Chapters 1, 3, 4, and 5 will be on the first lecture exam. This is already open, but we will have a Teams meeting. God willing, we have our Teams channel open by then. We will have our Teams meeting on Monday. I'll have one from 12 to 12:30 and then another one from 7 to 7:30. For that Teams meeting, you need to send me in a question regarding these chapters. You can send in multiple questions if you have multiple questions, but you need to at least send one, and I will go over and answer all of those questions before you take the lecture exam on Tuesday. Okay. And then the lab practicals, the first lab practical will be lab 1, 2, 3, and 4. It corresponds perfectly to your first lecture exam. Your lecture exams really cover the physiology and kind of how things work, why they work this way, a lot of terms and definitions. Your lab practicals cover more of the anatomy, naming stuff, where stuff is located, what direction, some of the anatomical terms, what cells and tissues look like. All of that is on the lab practical. The lecture exams are more of how things work and what they do. I'll pull this up really quickly. Okay, so I know I've gone over this before, but our Teams meetings will always be on Monday. We've definitely missed this one, but our next one will be next Monday. So you'll have the 2 meetings on Monday. You just have to attend one. You can attend both if you want to, but you just have to attend one, and then you'll take your lecture exam on Tuesday. Okay, but then you'll take your lab practical. Do I have the lab practicals? You'll take your lab practical on Monday. Okay, you can wait until after our Teams meeting. You can definitely send in questions about the labs for the Teams meeting on Monday, and then I can go over those questions, and you can take your lab practical, Monday afternoon or Monday evening. I would really like you to stick on this schedule so that you don't get behind. Okay, there's a lot of information. It comes pretty quickly. Okay, so lecture exams on Tuesdays, lab practicals on Mondays, team meetings on Mondays, and I can review anything that you need help on for the lecture or the practical. Okay, let's see if Visible Body's pulled up. I'll show you this really quickly, and then I'll let you off. Okay, I think I've reviewed everything. Really quickly, the final exam, I'll open this up when we get kind of closer to the end of the course. The final exam will just count as another lecture exam. I'm not going to weight it any differently because we have to move so quickly. I will just count this as an extra lecture exam. Okay, so here's the Visible Body. This is just, it's just awesome. So it has the different body systems. So if you click, let's say the circulatory system. Okay, so you can click on any structure. If you click on it, it will highlight it in blue, and it will tell you what that structure is. If you click on this little book, this is the definition. It tells you all about that structure. If you need to know how to pronounce it, you can click on the speaker here. If you want to know any pathologies associated with that structure, you can click on that. And then if you need to zoom, you can double click and it'll zoom in on that structure. You can also use the wheel on your mouse to scroll or 2 fingers on your keypad. You can turn image. Left click allows you to turn. Right click allows you to move it up and down. Okay. So just get into Visible Body, just do a little bit of clicking. If there's a structure, like this is the pericardium that surrounds the heart, if you want to see the heart, you can highlight that in blue and click hide. and it will hide that structure so that you can see the things underneath.